Good morning, everyone. I wish you all well. I hope that you have your tea or coffee or whatever it is that you're drinking or snacking on. I hope you have it at the ready so we can dive in to our morning's contemplation. So we have a card from my wisdom cards and the affirmation. I'm going to read two. I felt compelled to read the front and back to these cards today. So, all my changes are easy to make. So, what does that? What does that say to you, and how does that make you feel? I know there's going to be resistance to that because a lot of times we get defensive. It's like, no, it's not easy. It's not easy. Don't tell me it's easy. And I'm not here to tell you anything. I'm just saying, like, this is something we have to contemplate, or we can contemplate. We don't have to. This is something we're contemplating here today. But like all my changes are easy to make. If I think about change in life and I think about it being inevitable, and if I allow myself to adjust to it and say, you know what, all the changes that I have to make, they're easy to make. I'm going to make them. They're easy to make. If I keep saying that, then it will just help set me up for success, right? It'll help me fall into like, oh, it's going to be easier in that transition. So it helps me out in the long run. And I think that's what it's saying. What is it saying to you? In order to change my life outside, I must change inside. The moment I am willing to change, it is amazing how the universe begins to help me. It brings me what I need. I really like that because when we remember that, it's we are co-creating in this world, and it is a lot of things. Again, what can we change? Ourselves, our perception, the world that we have within us, right? And so when we start to create the changes within us, when we start to change who, like us, like our beliefs or what we allow ourselves to participate in and all of that, we recognize that that's an internal shift in energy and in vibe. And then we see in our outside world the external responses to that, and we start to manifest, we start to experience life in accordance with those internal inside changes, right? Does that make sense? And so I like that. And when we make those changes, when we are willing and ready to change, uh, the universe, the gods, God, goddess, spirit, angels, right? Whoever you connect with starts to pave a way and starts to bring to us situations and people, experiences, and resources that help us to solidify the change that we are seeking. Okay, and so that's the card for from the wisdom cards, and we'll check with how it's enhanced with the getting into the vortex card. So all my changes are easy to make. What does that say to you? And maybe we can also think about, instead of resisting, instead of trying to find a way to express how it's not easy, why don't we take some time? We can go back to expressing how it's not easy in a while, but why don't we take some time to entertain the thought that it could very well and is easy? So if it is easy, how does that make me feel? If all of the changes are all of my changes are easy to make, and if that belief, if I allow it to be true, what does that say for me? How does that make me feel? And how does my life shift and change? And what becomes easier? Let's give some time to think about that. We can go back to friction oriented stuff if we want when we choose it, but let's just at least give us a few moments to think about all my changes are easy to make. I am open to receiving the blessings based on the changes that I seek to initiate, right? And when I decide that, you know what, change is here, and I'm allowing myself to tap into that, and when I honor that, I also honor the fact that I already know that pathway is made available. I will experience changes. I will experience things to help me along this path. And that is coupled with, let's see, feeling negative emotions means I'm launching requests. As more people observe hardship and strike a tense, resistant pose, and therefore disallow their own well being, others use them as their reason to do the same. And in a very short time, a very negative pattern of resistance can sweep through your population. The good news in this scenario is that in every moment that every person is feeling negative emotion about the economic state, vibrational requests for more abundance are launched. And those requests are heard clearly and responded to immediately by source. What does that say to you? How does that make you feel? And so I kind of like this because it reminds me of like, okay, when there's again, when there's extreme negativity on the other side of it, there's extreme like positivity. When there's a lack of something on the other side, and connected to it is the abundance, the having of something. They're connected and they're forever connected. It is simply, what we can tap into, what we plug into. And so those feeling negative emotions means I'm launching requests. If we recognize at any given moment, like, okay, yes, we jumped on the bandwagon, and then this intensity of requests put it out there, but we're not really receiving that, because the solution, because we're tuned into the problem. And so when I recognize, like, oh, I can tune into the solution, there's already this intensity of energy, this intensity of action, right? And when we tune into it, the solution's like, oh, it's there. It has been there all this time. And we simply had to turn around and be open to receiving it, and allow ourselves to adjust to that sort of experience, that energy, that vibration. All my changes are easy to make. Does that make sense? And so I want us to also contemplate that, where am I feeling negative emotion right now? I understand that that is something that is going on in my life. I'm in a fear based space, or maybe I'm lacking something, but wherever I am feeling negative emotion, there's also this attraction, this longing for something I may not be aware that I have. It's this longing for something that I do not currently have, and I'm focused on not having it. And so I have this sort of negative response. But what is it that I want? Let me turn around. I've sent those requests out there, but I'm so focused on not having. I'm so focused on the negative emotion aspect of it that I can't clearly see the beauty that is unfolding and waiting for me to look at it and open it, and receive it with open arms. Does that make sense? And so that's kind of what is being expressed this morning for us to contemplate. And where am I feeling this negative emotion? What's going on in my life that I'm having these negative responses? And what is the real response here? What is the real desire here? Yes, I'm going through the situation, but what is the true desire here? What am I really longing for to receive? What do I desire? And then when I understand that, let me focus in on that. Let me focus in on bringing that to me. I understand that negative emotion. I understand why I felt that way, and why I'm scared, or why I lack this. I understand. I see it. And now I know what I really want. I know what I'm open to receiving. I know that I want this in my life. Let me go for that. And just recognize all my changes are easy to make. So, I think that's it for this morning. I hope that you can take something from that and utilize it, and contemplate it as you enjoy the rest of your morning. Let me know in the comment section what you think, how you feel. Let me know what pops up for you. Again, if you're watching a recording of this and you have things to share, please share. I'm happy to help where I can. I'm happy to be of service. So always reach out if you have questions, or if you have a special request for a video that's not the Deviant Daily. If you want a special, a different video to be created, and if I can create it, I will. Just let me know. And if you want me to work with any Oracle deck or Tarot deck, you have a request for that, also let me know, and I'll be happy, if I can, to obtain it. And if you want to know how to support these videos and future videos, you can click the links in the description, and there are various ways to express your support. So I really thank you for sharing your time with me this morning, and I will talk to you later this afternoon. So take care.